What is up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel, and if you are new, welcome. My name is Meg, and today we are continuing on with my chit chat get ready with me featuring Smokey Eye edition, where I'm teaching you how to do various ways of doing smoky eyes that are very beginner friendly, so you don't need to be intimidated, especially now that we're in fall season. This is the Scorpio vibes look, and I have a second Scorpio vibes look that I'm going to be putting out in probably 2 weeks, because I think I'm going to be doing one upload a week on this channel. So be sure to subscribe so you can be notified when my videos come out. You can also hit the bell button if you want to be notified. But yes, if you would like to see how to get this smoky Scorpio eyeshadow look, be sure to stay tuned because we're hopping right into it. Hi, it's me. We are going to get started into this. It's always awkward when I do the intro and then like I just start randomly from here at the beginning. As always, I have my ABH eye primer on, and we're just gonna do like another chit chat get ready with me while I show you how to do a smoky eye. And I'm super excited because I kind of want to feature some of my favorite palettes for smoky eyes to show you a variety. So maybe you have these, or maybe you'll see this and be like, oh, that looks like something I'm interested in, but I don't know. Anyways, today I'm going to be using the Nikki Tutorials and Beauty Bay collab. I love this palette. I was shocked when it came out because this palette, I believe it was only $30, which I was like, for somebody as big as Nikki Tutorials, you know, obviously they could have charged a lot more. So I think it speaks a lot that she wanted this to truly be like a more affordable palette, and $30, I understand, isn't affordable to everyone. But the color story in here, sorry for that annoying noise. The color story in here is so good. It's like a little bit of everything that you need. And if you're not into bright colors, I could see why maybe you wouldn't be interested in this palette. But let me tell you, the shimmers that are in here make it worth the $30 alone. You might be like, I already have neutral colors. I don't really like bright colors. Why would I buy this? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shimmers that are just spectacular that you'll see in another video, because this is going to be an all matte look. So not a great choice to highlight the shimmers because I'm not going to. I posted a poll and a lot of you said that you wanted the last look of October to be an all matte look. So here we are. And I get it because like the glittery look, because I have one glitter look in mind that I want to do. And I can see how that can translate to holiday. So for this all matte look, what I'm going to do, it's quite simple because we're not going to be doing a whole lot here. So that's why I like about these smoky eyes is that they may seem intimidating, but they're not that bad. So the main character is going to be this brown called Mila, and it's like a medium tone brown. I would say it leans more like in the caramely range. So again, as always, use whatever products you have. And we're going to start by packing this onto the lid and then blending it up into the crease. So as always, I am open to taking suggestions for what kind of videos you would like to see on this makeup channel. I know a lot of people just go to TikTok for tutorials. That's why I'm kind of doing a mix of tutorials and chit chat get ready with me's, because I'm not really sure like what people are into watching. So if you could let me know what you prefer, or if leaving comments on YouTube isn't your thing, I get it. I don't leave comments on YouTube videos ever. Feel free to DM me on Instagram and let me know, because I do enjoy creating. I love doing makeup artistry. But you know, it's hard to get your content seen on other platforms, and I do enjoy the longer form of content on YouTube, and I feel like you get to connect a little bit more, or at least that's how I feel, and that's how it used to be. My only complaint is that I wish that this was a little bit more taupey. If it was more taupey, it would be perfect for this look, but we're just gonna roll with it. It's hard to find a good taupey eyeshadow, which brings me into my next subject, because today I ordered the Lunar Beauty Advent Calendar, the newest launch. I'm so excited. It's supposed to arrive today, but I'm not filming with it today because like our mail comes literally like at 5 o'clock. So I'm like, I'm not waiting until 5 o'clock to film a video, but I am so excited to sit down and play with that and get a review up for you. You'll probably see me in the same makeup because like I am an Aries, right? Like I have no patience, so I'm gonna like tear into that biatch as soon as it comes and like do like an overview, and then I'll do like a tutorial with the look because that's kind of how I've been enjoying doing reviews lately. So we have the shadow nicely packed, and you can see I've dipped into the palette, what, twice, maybe 3 times. So now again, I'm going loosey-goosey with the brush. I'm like barely using it, doing little teeny tiny circles. And you want to smoke this out as much as your little heart desires. But I think his palette has some cool taupey tones in it. So that's why I'm like, his palette probably would be the better one to do this look with. But I wanted to get it out there. So that will be coming soon. I also have another review that I've been like hesitating putting out because when I don't feel good about putting content out, I just don't want to put it out. And it leads me into like a little bit of a rant because my husband, bless his heart, I've been like complaining, not so much complaining, just like really like sad over my creative energy, my creative block, and I just said I feel like so uninspired. And I honestly, like, I have such an amazing husband. Like he's too good for me, honestly. So he was like, okay, like, what can I do to try to help her? Like, he's always like, what can I do to help her? Like, nothing helps. Anyway, so his sweetheart saw that Urban Decay released a new eyeshadow palette, and he knows that Urban Decay is a brand that I like. They used to be my favorite brand for years and years and years and years. I love Urban Decay. I have an entire drawer in one of these drawers just full of Urban Decay palettes because they're the reason. Sorry, I didn't want you to listen to my ice like shuffling around. They're the reason I fell in love with makeup and like what really got me into it and like got into like my creativity. So I will also say, sidetrack here, I got this new camera, right? And I'm just using the mic that's on it, and it picks up a lot of like anytime it really picks it up. So I ordered a microphone, and it's also coming today, and I'm not like waiting around for it to get here because it says expected delivery around 10 p.m. So I'm like, again, like, so this should be the last video. Hopefully the next video has better sound. Bear with me while I figure all this new technology stuff out because I had a simple point and shoot camera that was on its last leg. I love that camera. It carried me through the majority of my time here on YouTube. It was about 6 years old, so it was time to upgrade. Anyway, what am I even saying? Urban Decay. So he got me the She-Hulk palette, and I know he got it for me because of the colors in it, because I love a good color story. Even though I'm doing a matte look today, I love a good like bright colorful eyeshadow. So the Hulk palette seemed like a perfect fit for me, and it does seem like it would be a good palette because there are some colors in it, but like you'll see more in my review on it. But spoiler alert, I didn't love the palette, and because I have so much makeup, all I wanted to do was return it because like I feel bad that my husband spent money on it, and it's not something that I love. It's not something that I would reach for again. So I wanted to try to return it. And because this is looking a little too orangey for me, I'm going to be taking the darkest brown in this palette called 5 AM, which again is still a little on the warm side, but that's okay. We're going to make it work. And again, we're going to, because we want the darkest color to be closest to our lash line and then smoked out, we're going to do the exact same steps. So anyways, I'm trying to figure out how to return this palette. It says that it comes with a prepaid packing slip and a return address. So like basically all you have to do is you have to use UPS. You have to go to the UPS store and you just slap the prepaid sticker and the address return label on it and you should be good to go. Seems simple enough. Um, but unfortunately for me, it wasn't that simple because I had a hard time finding a box to fit it, and they say like to like keep the original box that it came in. Well, I threw that box away because I was like, why would I return this? Like, I really like Urban Decay. Like, it's hard to disappoint me when it comes to makeup. So I threw the box away. I still had the outer packaging that it came in. I just didn't have the shipping box that it came in. So I was kind of like waiting around a little bit for, you know, other packages to arrive to see if I could find one that fits. But I didn't. And I'm like, okay, I'm nearing like the 60-day deadline. I need to get this figured out. So I went to the UPS store to try to return this makeup palette, and the guy was like, oh, okay, well, we don't really have a box, so I would have to buy a big box and then buy a bunch of stuffing to fill it. And I was just like, okay, like, well, that's annoying, but whatever. And then he goes, this isn't a valid address for the return, because like I was like, here's the packing slip. Like, I've never done a return that isn't an Amazon return. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. And he was looking at it and he's like, this isn't a valid address, because like for like the return, it just said Urban Decay, and then it gave a street number and a street name, and then it just said Return City, USA. Instead of the city, state, and zip code. And I'm like, okay. So he's like, I literally can't ship this. Like, there's nowhere, like, this address doesn't exist. And he's like, there's no prepaid label. Like, what are you talking about? And then so I noticed that the blank label next to it should have been the prepaid label. So anyways, I'm trying to figure out how to get a hold of customer support. And when I first called the phone number, like, their Twitter is weird. We're going to jump into that in a second. Like, whoever is running their Twitter account, like, I just don't understand what happened to the brand. Like, is Wendy still in charge of Urban Decay is like my main question. Because I'm very confused. So anyway, I tried calling the number because like there's like no live chat feature, and as somebody who is neurodivergent, who has ADHD, who's autistic, like these are all like very challenging steps. Okay, like if you're neurotypical, this is not a big deal to you, but to me it's like I'm panicking. So there's no live chat option. I call the phone number. It says that the number's out of service the first time I call it. So then I try to go onto their website and, or I go onto their Twitter to see like if they respond to like customers on Twitter. They don't. And so I'm just like, what the hell? And then so I was just like, let me just try calling the phone number again. So I do, and I get through to someone, and it was just like this confusing, unnecessary process. Can you even tell that this is like a neon sign? I feel like sometimes when it's on, it doesn't look neon. Anyway, so to start smoking this up, I'm going to be using a pencil now, and I'm going to be using the same two colors on my lower lash line, but we're going to heavily add some drama here. Speaking of Urban Decay, I love this brand so much. I love their pencils. This is in the shade Smoke. So I'm going to do my waterline, my upper lash line, and I'm going to smoke out my lower lash line. I don't know if you can see a difference in this eye with it just having a little bit darker of a base around the lash line, but that's what it looks like with the waterline. I just cut it out in case anyone's bothered by having to see that. I am like already tired of talking about this. I didn't think like this is what I was going to end up talking about. So I'm just going to smudge this liner, and then I'm taking this Morphe E36. It's just like a little, and we're going to blend it. So anyways, I'm on the phone and I'm just like, y'all didn't give me like an address. Like I don't have a return address. I was like, I'm nearing the 60-day return mark. Like I would like to return this product. And then they were kind of giving me a hard time about it on the phone. And they're just like, well, what do you mean? And I was just like, the return address literally says this, and there's no prepaid packing slip. Like I need to return this. Like it needs to go out today. You know, like I need to get this. I need to get a refund on this. And then they were kind of saying like without a valid reason for a refund, they would not give me the return address. I'm like, what? I was like, I just didn't like the product, to be honest. And they're just like, oh, so like it wasn't damaged or broken? And I'm like, no. And they're like, but you're trying to return it? And I'm like, because I don't like it. Like, yes. So it was very frustrating conversation. And then I got put on hold several times because they're like, we've never had this situation happen. And I'm like, what do you mean you've never had this situation happen? I'm just trying to return a product I didn't like. Like, I don't understand. So literally over an hour later, I get told that I will receive an email with the information that I need. And specifically on the phone, I was told I would get sent a new prepaid packing slip I can print out and put on the package. Because I'm like, great. So I get the email with the address and no packing slip. So I'm like, email them back. And then somebody else is like, we just don't hand out prepaid packing slips. And so I was like, well, according to your return policy and on the packing and on like the, you know, the packing slip that came with my order, it's prepaid shipping back. And according to your website, you pay for the shipping to return the product. And they were like going back and forth with me on it, saying it's not company policy, saying it wasn't company policy and that I would have to pay for the return shipping myself. And I just said, that's not fair. Like, my husband paid, like, he thought that this palette would sell out, and he like truly thought it was something I would enjoy, so he paid for like expedient shipping. And I'm just like, he paid so much money because he said the only option, like there's only 2 options for shipping. One where it said it would take like 2 to 3 weeks to arrive, or one where it said it would take like a week to arrive. So he paid for the more expensive option. And I'm just like, this just isn't fair. Because like the amount that he paid for this palette is just like ridiculous. Like, I feel bad. And yeah, they said that they don't give out prepaid packing slips. And they said that if I was interested in having my shipping reimbursed to me, that I would have to submit a report to like a different department of the brand, and that they would have to open a report and open up a case file for it, and they would have to analyze it, and they would have to determine if I qualify for my shipping to be returned, which on their website and on the packing slip itself, on the order sheet, it says prepaid packing slip. And it says on their website, you will not have to pay shipping to return the product. It's prepaid. You don't have to pay for it. But in their emails, they're saying, well, we would have to open up a case and see and make that determination ourselves, and you would have to send proof of, you know, your receipt and all this other shit. And I'm like, why is this so hard to return something? And then they told me, you're cutting it too close to the 60 days, so then we would have to open up another case to determine if we should allow you to be refunded your money, even if it gets to us before the 60 days. And I'm just like, what the hell? Like, I just think that they knew that this palette was a flop and they're losing money on it. Like, the palette that I'm talking about launched, maybe it's either not even been 2 months or it's barely been 2 months, and it's already 50% off on their website. So I think that they're trying to make this impossible because they don't want to reimburse money and lose money on this product. And I am so like just disappointed with how the customer service was handled. Like, the person I talked to on the phone was lovely and tried to help me the best that they could, but I just think like whatever policies they have in place don't match the policies on their website. It shouldn't be so confusing and hard to return a product. So at the end of the day, I figured that it wasn't worth it because it didn't seem like they were very interested in wanting to give me a refund in the first place. So I would be spending my own money to ship back a palette that, you know, essentially money was spent on. They would say it doesn't qualify for a return, and I wouldn't have the product, and they wouldn't refund my shipping costs. So I'm like, I'm the one that's losing out here, like literally so bad. So I decided to not return it. Maybe I will find some sort of use for the palette, but I don't understand what's going on with Urban Decay. And like, I'm gonna throw up some of the screenshots from their Twitter account, and I just think it's very weird. Like, I don't know who's running their social media, and like, it's just cringy to me. Like, you're a brand, and like, you're responding to people about like, you know, talking this in a bond. They're like, should we kiss? And it's just like weird. Like, I don't know if you think like that's how you connect to Gen Z, but like, I don't think Gen Z like honestly gives a fuck about you or like knows who you are. I know that sounds harsh. And then like someone else tweeted about like being high and doing laundry, and then the person on the Urban Decay account being like, want to come over? And I'm just like, this is so weird and bizarre to me that a professional brand that is, you know, well over 20 years old is tweeting shit like this online. Like, does anybody else find this strange, or am I just being like an elder millennial that's like, I don't understand what's happening? So the trick with this Smokey Eye is that we're really going heavy on the bottom lash line. That's my rant. I just find it like bizarre. Like, I just don't get it. And then like even the marketing for this palette was weird to me, because I like opened it and I'm like, they collaborated with Marvel. Like, I haven't heard shit about this palette, and even on their Instagram, they weren't even advertising it on their Instagram. So to me, I'm like, are you even proud that you put this out? Like, the formulation, it was just, it's just so like weird to me. So anyways, if you're interested in the video, not that I spoiled it, but if you're actually interested to see how these shadows worked for me, it will be the video out after, well, I don't know. I'm probably going to put the Lunar Beauty video out next, and then do another chit chat, get ready with me, Smokey Eye, and then I'll probably put it out, because it's just like, it was bad, y'all. I feel like normally, and to circle back to my point, if I'm like not proud of how something turned out, I don't want to edit it. I don't want to look at it. I don't want to put it out into the universe. Like, it's hard for me to like sit back and watch the footage, because I look so defeated and so frustrated. And that's why I also didn't upload on my YouTube channel for so long, because anytime I would sit down and try to film, like, you could see the like the literal depression on my face, no matter how hard I tried to mask it. And I was just like, I just looked like such a sad person. So I was like, I don't want to put this on the internet. Like, this shouldn't be on the internet. But yeah, I finally brought myself to editing that video last night after, you know, sitting on it for a month. And I tried 2 different eyeshadow looks, because I really like, when I do product reviews, I give my honest opinion, but I always want a product to work. So I was just trying really hard for the product to work. So I did 2 different looks, and yeah, you'll have to see how that turned out for me in the video when it's up soon. But basically, what I did was just smudge out that lower lash line with the eyeliner, and then I used the same brush with the dark brown, and then now I'm going in with the lightest brown, the first color we used, with this bigger brush to further smoke it out. Why in my mind did I just sound like Dr. Evil? Smoking a pancake? Alright, so next steps is eyeliner. And this is going to be interesting, because I'm pretty sure all my liquid liners are dried out, so love that for me. So what I'm going to do is map out like I always do, and I pick up this super thin KVD 70 brush, and I pick up a lighter brown shadow, and I map out where I want the eyeliner to be. So what is the angle of this that we are looking for? We're just kind of looking for it to just kind of extend out like that. And if you are new here, I like doing this with eyeliner, because then you can check to see like what adjustments need to be made, and if you mess up, you just smudge it away. If you've been here, you're probably sick of me saying it in every video, but you never know. New folks who are watching that might not know. All right, I'm just gonna call that and figure it out as we go. We have 3 eyeliners here to try that are all on their last leg. So I love the House Labs. Let's see if this is the more dried out one or not. Yep. Perhaps this one will be better. And then I just like to let it fall to about where my pupil is, and that's where I have it thin out, and then I try to keep it super thin on the inner corner. You guys, I didn't get to talk about the Taylor album in this video, so maybe that will be the next video. That will have to be the next Chit Chat Get Ready With Me, talking about Midnights. So be prepared. So I also wanted to talk about TV shows, which I didn't get to because I just went on this really unexpected rant about customer service at Urban Decay. So apologies if you don't like rants and complaining. I'm sorry, that was like not my intention for this video at all. But if anyone has any tips on bangs, can you let me know? Like, I'm about to trim mine because they're long. Like, they started here. My hair grows really fast. But how can I break my hair of a middle part? Because like I've tried, you know, trying to mold it into place. I've tried blow drying it into place. I've tried, you know, teasing it, but no matter what, this like middle part is haunting me. And obviously it looks worse now because I need to trim my bangs. But if you have any tips on to have it just kind of stop going down the middle, because I also feel like it doesn't look good in the middle either, let me know in the comments. All right, so there's a couple more things that I'm going to do to wrap up this look, but I'm going to do my base really fast off camera, and we'll be back because this video is long enough already. We are back because I thought it would be fun to wrap up what I'm just doing on the rest of my face. So yeah, I have my foundation on. I just use a mix of the Estee Lauder Double Wear, the Sheer Long Wear, and I also use the original Double Wear because together it makes my perfect match without it being a little bit too much. So to finish off, I'm using the crumbles of this, and you gotta be careful when it starts crumbling because sometimes it can pick up really heavily. And I also have brand new clean brushes. I don't mean brand new, I just mean like they're freshly clean. So to me, I'm like, I have brand new brushes. So sometimes once you use your brushes a couple times, the product applies a lot more evenly, in my opinion, than like when you're starting fresh. But let this be your reminder to clean your makeup brushes if you haven't done it in a while. I cleaned all of my face brushes and my eye brushes. So what I spent 45 minutes doing the other night. I was up until like 3 a.m. So anyways, I kind of want to talk about TV shows a little bit. So I think in like the next video, let me know what like your topics for chit chats are. The lighting might look a little bit uneven because like I have my window over here open, so it's like another source of light that is coming in. And I don't really do much with my forehead anymore now that I have bangs. But since they're being little tricksters, I'm still going to apply some bronzer where they may part or peek through, but I don't apply a cream base there anymore. So I want to talk about The Luckiest Girl Alive because I feel like that's still relevant. It's a movie that came out. Does anybody else's nose get super itchy after they apply makeup? It's a new movie that came out on Netflix, and there's a lot of heavier topics. So if you're not into that, that's fine. Like, you got to see how to do the Smokey Eye. There's just like one more thing that I'm going to do at the end to like add some extra pizzazz. Ugh. Anyway, for blush, I'm using the OG Moon Prism because as much as I love the other one that's back there, the Nude Prism, it's a little too pink for what we're going for. So I'm going to kind of take mostly Spacey and some of Stargaze and mix it together. Again, a fresh brush, so I'm really going to load the product up on here. And then I just like to lightly stipple. But I want to talk about Luckiest Girl Alive. If you saw the movie, the book is so much worse. And that's my my complaint. Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel where we complain about things. So yeah, The Luckiest Girl Alive, I had no idea what it was going to be about. If you don't want spoilers, then I guess like this, I'll see you in the next video. Hopefully you subscribe if you're not yet already. But I saw the movie was coming out and Mila Kunis signed on to do it. And I was like, she doesn't do shit anymore, so it must be good if she's doing it. And there really wasn't much information on what the movie is about, and now I understand why. I honestly, like, I figured it was like some kind of like thriller thing. They kind of implied that the guy that she's with is like a douchebag, and she's just like, oh, I'm sick of like pretending to fit into this man's life when I want nothing to do with it. I thought it was going to be like a Gone Girl situation. So I was like, let me read the book before I get to the movie. So I got the audiobook. And by the way, I have to shout out libraries, because if you like books, audiobooks or not, library is a great source for free things. Just saying. Okay, so this is what we are working with as far as hair goes, as far as makeup goes. This is where we're at. I just added some false lashes. These are the Ardell Wispy lashes. And then I just used the Morphe lip liner in Love Bite. And now I'm going to apply this matte liquid lipstick by Lunar Beauty. This is in the shade Perfection. I love this because it's really hard for me to find like a nude that's like pinky but like not dark, because I'm pale. So if it was like honestly a little bit lighter, then it really would be. I wish it was like the teensiest bit lighter. But because I have lip liner mostly all over, I just wanted to dab that a little bit in the middle. And now we are going to add sparkle, because even though this is a matte look, we're still going to have fun with some sparkle aspects. Okay, so I wanted to talk about Luckiest Girl Alive because I just honestly, I can't deal with it. Just like I can't deal with my bangs. Like, ugh. If you know of any creators that are good at styling bangs, please drop their names in the comment section. I need all the help I can get. My bangs have not looked the same since I got them cut close to a month ago. But anyway, Luckiest Girl Alive is freaking wild. So like I said, like I thought it would be like a Gone Girl type of situation, and nothing prepared me for the horror of what it is. Like, I know a lot of people just watched the movie and thought it was traumatizing, and like, if you thought the movie was traumatizing, like the book is like 20 times more traumatizing. It was horrible, because like I was just like, oh, I just want to see like the difference between like the book and the movie, and like I really like Mila Kunis, and like that's the only reason why I had any interest in watching it, because I like her, and I was like, oh, like maybe this will be something cool. There's a lot that happens in the book that they don't even touch in the movie at all, which I find is odd. And they did make some differences, I'm sure because of time constraints, because the book was pretty long to listen to. So yeah, it was just really interesting, because like I did watch videos or interviews ahead of time, and Mila said that they reworked the script and not everything is exact to the movie because they wanted to update it to modern times. And I'm glad that they did, because like there was some slang and words that you don't say and that you don't use used in the book. So I'm, you know, good on that. And also, it was interesting because the gotcha moment, it still happened, but the way it happened was a lot different in the book than in the movie. Like I said, if you don't want spoilers on this, just like, I'm just adding some sparkles to my lower lash line with. So anyways, so in the book, the gotcha moment, like, she never leaves the interview, and it seems like the filming of the interview took like it seems like it lasted 2 weeks. So the time difference was like really interesting. They also took out the creepy factor of her being obsessed with her teacher, but as a victim of trauma, I understand it, because her teacher was the only person who like really believed her and like had her back. So like I understand why she had this fixation with her teacher. They didn't show that in the book at all, and or they didn't show that in the movie at all, because in the book she like hooks up with him and like as an adult. She cheats on her shitty fiance, and her fiance is like so much more irritating in the book. I feel like in the movie they didn't really show how annoying he was until towards the end, where he was like, okay, I can't really deal with you anymore. But in the book, like, the vibe from the beginning is him kind of being like, I can't really deal with your trauma. And then as you're reading, you're sitting there thinking like, how could this possibly get more traumatizing, right? Because like, one thing happens, it's like one thing after another, and you're like, how could this be more traumatizing? And then when you finally get like the full circle story of why the documentary is being done, why this interview is happening, and how completely insensitive her fiance is like, it makes it even more appalling to me. Her mom in the book is so bad. And it's like so subjective to sit there and be like, worst character, because like there's so many awful characters. But I guess when it comes to her present day life and like her support system, her mom is like a horrible freaking person. And I kind of wish that they didn't change it in the movie. So you can see this is just adding some fun sparkle to the look. I kind of wish they didn't change it in the movie, like the funeral scene. Like, in the book, her, like, there's just so much more. Like, there's like a whole investigation aspect that goes along to it. I, like, my memory is like a little bit foggy, but I believe she was like arrested and like had to spend time in jail, and like she was working with these detectives, and you know, no one was advising her to get a lawyer, and it was like really bad. So when she finally got a lawyer, the lawyer had to tell her what happened in high school and what happened at those parties. And her mom's reaction is exactly why she did not confide in her mom at all. Her mom shamed her to no end, which is just horrible and disgusting. I forgot to add my inner corner highlight. But in the book, her mom is evil because her mom forces her to go to, I can't remember if it was Liam or Peyton. Her mom forces her to go to the funeral knowing what those boys did to her, and told her that she just needed to deal with it, and it was her fault that it happened. And in the movie, the mom doesn't know about what happened at the parties. Like, the mom is just like, you know, it's the right thing to do, we gotta go to the funeral, blah blah blah. And it's just like, I don't know, maybe it would have been too intense for the movie or something. I'm like, where's the cutoff here? Because to me, like, that truly speaks to like how evil and just like cruel her mother was to her, to make her go to the funeral of someone who essayed her and sit through it. Because, I mean, you can kind of see that her mom is like this gold digger type, like, suck it up because, you know, you can't, you need a man in your life, honey, is like kind of how her mom in the movie is. And we just miss seeing this whole other like even horrible side of her mom. So yeah, I don't know, because like this was based off of true events. So props to the author having to live through all of that, because it's fucking horrible. But I wish, I know like back in 2015, there weren't, like trigger warnings weren't a thing at all. Because that's when the book came out. And I kind of wish that there was a trigger warning, because like I said, it's just one traumatizing thing after another. Regardless if you're somebody that has gone through what the author goes through or not, it's extremely graphic in the way that everything is described. So my complaint with the Luckiest Girl Alive is that they're like the complete lack of trigger warnings. And I was seeing this complained about on Twitter, because Netflix, like I noticed when I watched it, like in the upper corner it says warning, content contains XYZ, but like they do that for everything. So like no one's really paying attention to that. So I thought that Netflix could have done a better job at, you know, having a very apparent warning for several of like the two main traumas that happen in the movie. There should have been blatant trigger warnings, and I'm honestly shocked that they made this movie given recent events. Like, I'm not sure, you know, who, not knowing anything about the book or the movie, like who would willingly want to watch what happen. So that's my thoughts on it. I kind of don't really want to get into it more because it is traumatizing. That's all I'm really going to say about it, my thoughts and opinions on it. I know it was like a really hot topic on Twitter. So if you watched the movie and you thought the movie was bad and you could barely handle the movie, do not read the book, because the way that things are described in extreme graphic detail when it comes to the scene at the high school, it's haunting. And just like, maybe it was worse to me because I listened to audiobooks. So verbally listening to that being described, I was like nervous how they were going to portray it in the movie, honestly. And it's really putting it lightly to say that it, like, compared to the book, what they showed in the movie, like, wasn't as bad. It was still bad, but like it was so incredibly graphic in the book because it goes into such great detail. So don't read or listen to the book if you thought the movie was a lot, is I guess the point of that. So I noticed that it was a hot topic on Twitter, and not that I want a discussion on this down in the comments. I just wanted to put this out there in case you were somebody that was thinking about watching the movie or thinking about reading the book and you weren't sure. Like, hopefully what I shared with you is enough for you to have an informed decision on if you want to proceed forward or not with it, because it's heavy, it's a lot to take in. So anyway, in my next video, when I talk about, like, you know, TV shows and things that content that I've been watching, it will definitely be a lot lighter, because I don't like consuming content like that, and it's not normally what I watch or what I consume. So anyways, this wraps up our, you know, Scorpio season vibes of a Smokey Eye. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I would love to hear from you. I feel so weird that I just even talked about that book or movie in this video. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this content. Let me know down in the comments what you would like to see me talk about in my next video. Like I said, we have that Lunar Beauty review that's going to be coming out next. The She-Hulk palette review is going to be coming out. I have at least one more Smokey Eye tutorial that I want to do, and then I'm sure once I get the Lunar Beauty palette, I'll probably do 2 or 3 looks with that. So let me know what you would like to see from me down below. Give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe so you are notified and you can see in your video section on YouTube when my new videos are out, or you can hit the bell button. But yeah, thank you so much for your time and energy. I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me. I feel weird ending this on a heavier note, talking about that. why did I want to talk about that? But anyways, I just wanted to put a warning out there because I feel like if you were interested in it and you're a highly sensitive person, I just wanted to say, like, it's not worth it. Maybe, like, look up on Wikipedia what happens and decide for yourself if you're interested in seeing it. And also, this, I don't know, man. I did not mean for this to be such a negative video with me complaining about customer service and then talking about this movie. Scorpio darkness vibes, I guess. Anyways, thank you so much for your time and energy in this video. I hope you liked it. If this wasn't your cup of tea, normally in my videos, I don't talk about this kind of stuff. So anyways, be sure to subscribe and I will see you in the next one. Bye everyone.